If you're a die-hard Browns fan and love breaking down the game like we do, hit that subscribe button and turn on the bell so you never miss a blitz. The Cleveland Browns quarterback situation is getting spicy, and the preseason hasn't even started yet. With 4 names vying for the starting role, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Shedeur Sanders, and Dillon Gabriel, it's turning into a full-blown soap opera in Cleveland. The Browns are set to face off against the Carolina Panthers in their first preseason matchup this Friday. And all eyes will be on Shedeur Sanders as he gets the nod to start under center. But behind the scenes, there's another layer of drama unfolding. Dillon Gabriel, the rookie out of Oregon, is quickly becoming the center of controversy. Despite showing flashes of potential in training camp, he's been on the receiving end of harsh criticism, most notably from Browns beat reporter Daryl Ruiter. Ruiter didn't just critique Gabriel, he absolutely torched him, claiming the rookie simply isn't an NFL quarterback. And when a local reporter is that blunt, you know things aren't looking great in Berea. Gabriel, a third-round pick in this year's draft, came in with modest expectations. Many scouts had him pegged as a day 3 selection, rounds 4 through 7, mainly due to concerns about his size and mechanics. Standing just 5'11", Gabriel doesn't fit the traditional mold of an NFL quarterback. Yet that hasn't stopped him from getting significant first-team reps during camp, which has baffled some observers, including Ruiter. They're cramming this guy down our throats, he said in a brutally honest radio segment. He's not good. He's just not an NFL quarterback right now. Those words are bound to echo through the halls of Browns headquarters this week. While coaches are surely evaluating players based on performance, not media soundbites, public opinion can start to shape narratives. And in the NFL, perception often becomes reality faster than most players would like. The situation gets even murkier when you look at the Browns' first official depth chart. Shedeur Sanders was listed 4th behind Gabriel, despite seemingly impressing coaches enough to earn the start against Carolina. That could signal a shift in momentum, or at least a chance for Sanders to leapfrog Gabriel with a strong showing. And make no mistake, these preseason games matter, with Deshaun Watson sidelined indefinitely on the IR. Cleveland is in quarterback limbo. That they may ultimately carry all 4 QBs into the regular season, but only 2 are realistically going to see meaningful snaps. If Sanders outshines Gabriel, it could be curtains for the former Duck. Coaches won't say it out loud, but one of these rookies might not finish the season in Cleveland. That's the harsh business of the NFL, especially in a position as cutthroat as quarterback. Ruiter's comments, harsh as they are, speak to a broader frustration many in Cleveland seem to share. While fans always root for rookies to succeed, especially underdogs like Gabriel, it's hard to ignore repeated struggles. According to Ruiter, Gabriel has looked shaky even during warm-ups, missing wide-open receivers and generally lacking the poise you'd expect from a pro-ready passer. It's not even about his height, Ruiter insisted. It's about execution. He rolls out and just misses guys. He's not seeing the field, not reading defenses. It's ugly out there. That kind of critique coming from a respected voice in the Browns media circle carries weight. Gabriel might not be phased outwardly. He's certainly used to doubters. But if the coaching staff hears enough of that noise, they may start looking at Sanders with fresh eyes. For Gabriel, the pressure is on. Friday's preseason game isn't just another opportunity to show progress. It might be his last real chance to silence the critics and solidify a place on this roster. There's a world where he comes out and shocks everyone, putting on a clinic that forces Ruiter and others to eat their words. But if he stumbles, the narrative writes itself. He's already battling the label of a reach pick, someone taken. Too early based more on hope than evidence. In an NFL where time is money and patience is thin, he might not get another shot if he doesn't deliver now. He doesn't need to be perfect, but he needs to be competent. Show command, hit open. Receivers, move the chains. That's the minimum requirement, and even that seems like a big ask, judging by what we've heard so far. Meanwhile, Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett loom large over the competition. Both have starting experience, and both have looked relatively solid in practice. The Browns aren't expecting a miracle, but they are expecting professionalism, consistency, and decision-making. That's the standard, and right now it seems like Gabriel is well below it. Pickett, while not spectacular, is at least steady. Flacco, the seasoned vet, brings calm and leadership. In contrast, Gabriel's erratic performance in drills and scrimmages is starting to raise eyebrows. Even inside the building, whispers are growing louder. Is this guy really worth a roster spot? Maybe the Browns just didn't do their homework. Maybe they thought they could mold him into something he's not. Or maybe, just maybe, the pressure is too much too soon for a player who needs more time to cook. What makes this storyline even more fascinating is the presence of Sanders. While he entered camp buried on the depth chart, the fact that he's starting Friday changes everything. It's a signal from the coaching staff that they want to see what the young man can do under pressure. If Sanders delivers and Gabriel continues to struggle, the Browns' decision might become a lot easier. Sanders has the pedigree, the swagger, and a marketable name. But most importantly, he has upside. If he starts to look like a future starter, even just flashes of one, Cleveland may decide to ride with him as their developmental QB, and that would put Gabriel squarely on the chopping block. Again, it's nothing personal. It's just business. And business in the NFL is cold-blooded. From a fan perspective, it's frustrating and confusing. How did a third-round quarterback already feel like a liability before playing a single preseason snap? It's hard to remember a time when a rookie QB faced this much backlash before his first professional game. And yet here we are. Gabriel has become a lightning rod, and that spotlight is only going to intensify if he underperforms Friday night. Browns fans are desperate for stability at the quarterback position, especially after the Watson injury threw everything into chaos. They don't have time for projects or reclamation attempts. They want results. And right now, the idea of Gabriel ever leading his team is a tough sell. He may not be out the door just yet, but he's standing dangerously close to it. The next few weeks will determine if he's pushed through or finds a way to step back. As harsh as it may sound, the NFL doesn't wait. The clock is always ticking, and for rookies like Dillon Gabriel, every practice rep and preseason snap matters. There's still a path forward for him in Cleveland, but it's narrowing by the day. He needs to change the narrative quickly. That means proving he belongs not just in flashes, but consistently. Fans don't need him to be the next Drew Brees or Russell Wilson, other short quarterbacks who've succeeded. They just need to believe he won't cost them games. For now, that belief is in short supply. But sports are funny. One big game, one big moment, and suddenly everything changes. Gabriel has that chance Friday. If he wants to stay in this league, let alone this team, he better take it, because the NFL isn't about potential, it's about performance. And the time to perform is now. So as the Browns prepare to take the field against Carolina, the stakes couldn't be higher for Gabriel. One bad outing could cement his fate as a preseason. Footnote, another cautionary tale of a player who couldn't make the leap. But a strong performance? That changes everything. It buys time, earns trust, and silences critics. It won't erase all doubts, but it gives coaches a reason to keep believing. And sometimes, that's all a young quarterback needs. One chance, one game, one moment to show he belongs. Dillon Gabriel's NFL future might hinge on what happens over the next few weeks, and it starts Friday night. Whether he rises to the occasion or crumbles under the weight of expectation, one thing is clear: the spotlight is on, the critics are loud, and the margin for error is razor thin. Welcome to the NFL, kid. Let's see what you've got. Enjoying the content so far? Smash that like button and drop your take in the comments. We want to hear what you think about the Browns this season. Rumors are swirling around the NFL like a whirlwind after what could be one of the most shocking behind-the-scenes maneuvers of the offseason. According to whispers coming from league insiders and a few cryptic social media hints, the Cleveland Browns may have quietly pulled off a move that no one, and I mean no one, saw coming: the secretive sale of veteran quarterback Joe FLACCO. That's right. Word is FLACCO, the same guy who resurrected the Browns' playoff hopes last season and nearly became the fairy tale hero of Cleveland, might be packing his bags and heading to a whole new zip code. This isn't just about swapping a backup. QB, this could change the complexion of two franchises entirely. We're talking about a late career move that could stir echoes of Brett Favre to the Jets or Tom Brady to Tampa. And get this, it was all done under a veil of absolute secrecy. Nobody knew until now. Now, before we dive headfirst into the chaos, let's unpack why this would be such a massive deal. Joe Flacco wasn't just a short-term band-aid for the Browns, he became their beating heart when everything else was falling apart. With Deshaun Watson sidelined and the offense looking lost, Flacco came off his couch and lit a spark no one expected. In just a few games, he not only earned the locker room's respect, but also the love of the Dawg Pound. And let's be honest, the city of Cleveland doesn't just hand out affection to quarterbacks. They've been burned too many times, but Flacco had that it factor again. The calm command of a Super Bowl MVP, and he led them into the playoffs when they had every reason to fold. So the idea that the Browns would move him, quietly, without even a whisper in the media, that's why this is making shockwaves behind the scenes. Several league executives, who asked to remain anonymous, have hinted that this deal might have been in motion even before the draft. That's right. There are growing rumors that Cleveland had already planned to cash in on Flacco's unexpected resurgence, a classic sell-high situation. The thinking in Berea, allegedly, is that Flacco's market value peaked after his miraculous run, and that some quarterback-needy team was desperate enough to throw significant assets at the Browns in exchange for a seasoned, playoff-proven leader. Who that team might be? Well, that's where it gets even juicier. Sources suggest multiple AFC teams made inquiries, but one NFC team might have actually pulled the trigger. And if that's true, then we're not just talking about a sale. We're talking about an interconference power shift that could reshape playoff picture forecasts across the league. What makes all of this even more dramatic is how tight-lipped the Browns organization has been. Not a single beat reporter in Cleveland caught wind of this. No press releases. No cryptic tweets from insiders. Just complete radio silence until now. The first cracks in the story emerged when Joe Flacco was conspicuously absent from team workouts, with no explanation from the franchise. Some speculated it was just rest for the aging vet. Others thought maybe contract talks were ongoing. But behind closed doors, there are now murmurs that Flacco was already en route to a new destination, undergoing private physicals and starting the onboarding process with a whole new playbook. If true, this would represent a level of organizational secrecy rarely seen in modern sports. We're talking CIA-level discretion here. The Browns front office has reportedly been obsessed with building for the future, especially given the uncertainty surrounding Deshaun Watson's health and performance. With so much cap space tied up in Watson, the idea of paying Flacco even a modest deal might have felt redundant, but fans won't see it that way. Joe Flacco, to many, was more than just a backup. He was the symbol of resilience, the guy who stepped in when all hope was lost and turned chaos into cohesion. Selling him off, especially in silence, will not sit well with the fan base. There's already a rising tide of frustration online, with Reddit threads exploding and Twitter sleuths digging through plane tracking apps to see where Flacco might have gone. That level of fan investigation only happens when something smells fishy. And right now, this whole thing reeks of an under-the-radar bombshell. What adds even more fire to this rumor is that multiple national reporters have begun following the trail, though none have gone fully public with it. Some are saying the paperwork is already done, just waiting for league approval. Others think it's a handshake deal, contingent on preseason performance. Either way, one thing seems certain: something big is brewing behind the curtain. If the Browns really did move Flacco without so much as a peep to the press, it'll go down as one of the most stealthy transactions in recent NFL history. It also raises serious questions about their quarterback room. Are they that confident in Watson returning to form? Or does this hint at a deeper shift in their offensive philosophy? One that might rely more on mobility, youth, or a bold new direction we haven't seen yet. For Flacco, this rumored move could be a dream scenario, or a disaster. On one hand, he's now seen as a comeback king, a guy who proved he still has plenty left in the tank. If he's heading to a team with an uncertain QB situation, like the Falcons or even the Seahawks, he might get a real shot at starting again. Imagine Joe Flacco, 40 years old, taking a new team on a deep playoff run. That would be cinematic. But if he's heading somewhere just to be a mentor, a clipboard holder, then maybe this was all business and nothing more. Either way, his value has never been higher post-Ravens. And the Browns clearly saw that. The question is whether they'll regret this if Watson stumbles again or gets injured. Because if Flacco lights it up elsewhere, the heat in Cleveland is going to be unbearable. This also begs a huge question about who exactly orchestrated the deal. Was this an Andrew Berry masterclass in asset flipping? Or did ownership push this through, unwilling to carry two high-profile QBs into a season where expectations are sky high? We know that behind every NFL transaction, there's usually a layer of politics, power plays, and long-term vision. But the lack of transparency here is what's so shocking. Even the locker room, according to one former Browns player on a podcast, is confused and pissed. That's a quote. So either the coaching staff was left in the dark too, or this was such a sensitive deal that it had to be kept from everyone until it was sealed. Either way, the trust dynamics inside the Browns facility may be shifting dramatically. And let's not ignore what this means for the league at large. If a playoff team like the Browns can just move on from their playoff hero with zero warning, what does that say about the value of veterans in today's NFL? The message seems clear. Loyalty lasts only as long as performance peaks. FLACCO proved his worth, but that didn't buy him a permanent seat. If this is the new standard, then we may see other teams following suit, flipping mid-season heroes for draft capital, retooling constantly rather than clinging to sentiment. It's a cold, calculated approach, but maybe that's the reality of today's NFL. The Browns may have just set a precedent or committed a colossal mistake that'll haunt them if things go south this season. Time will tell. So now all eyes are on the Browns' next move and on Joe Flacco's mysterious whereabouts. Will a press conference confirm what everyone's whispering? Will a rival team unveil him in shocking fashion, a la Brady in Tampa or Rodgers in New York? Or will this rumor stay in the shadows, slowly gathering credibility until someone slips up and the truth comes out? Whatever happens, this story is far from over. The NFL thrives on drama, and this has all the ingredients of an off-season thriller. For now, fans are left piecing together clues, tracking jets, and watching social media like hawks. One thing's for sure, if this turns out to be true, it won't just be a trade. It'll be a statement, and the league will never look at the Browns or Joe Flacco the same way again. Thanks for riding with us on another Browns Blitz. If you liked the video, share it with a fellow fan, hit subscribe, and ring that bell so you're always part of the Dawg Pound conversation. Go Browns!